Nothing in this process of evolution of a society is eternal and irrefutable. As the society evolves, moves on, there will be a lot of change in the conceptual framework of a normal human being and even an extraordinary human being who is possessed with certain skills of thinking and thought process. So, this is the right time for the Indian society to think about certain values of tradition, imbibing certain values of the modern approach given by the science and sociology, put together a judicious combination. I emphasize the word a judicious combination of values have to be incorporated in the social process and thinking process of the youth. Otherwise, we will be facing a catastrophe and Indian society may land in the biggest trouble that has ever faced in the history of evolution. The song Celestial has suggested a philosophy of action that is even in the midst of work. A man can see the divine in the work itself. The touching based upon the philosophy of action and is concerned about the man at work. Humanism has been there for a long time, but the real test is to see whether we behave in a humane way or not. That is the test now the society is undergoing. Humanism seems to have been forgotten over the years. Several scriptures, several leaders who led the movement of independence have pointed out the necessity of these human values and behaving like a human in a humane way. Several scriptures try to inspire us to tap the humanistic impulses. The infinite manifests itself in all human beings like the sun whose reflection can be seen in ponds, lakes and pools. Man is the center of the infinite possibilities because his soul is pure, has no hatred and does not give room for violence. After all, religion is the manifestation of divinity in the form of humanity, in the form of doing something better to the humanity, to be human, to be human in man and their spiritual background because it is in the very nature. What is needed that he should learn the science of unfolding the tremendous at any time, as the Upanishad says, we should march on. We should march on by unfolding the tremendous potential available in your heart, by refining your heart, by making your mind to work as a refinery. Why should our minds work in a refinery like a refinery? Because filter all the socially irrelevant concepts, filter all the useless concepts of law, and also equally bad concepts which are not good for the evolution of the society, which are brought by technology and the modern culture imbibed by the present society. Then only we can march on. See, Swami Ranganathananda of Ramakrishna Mission once referred to the process of crude oil being tapped, refined, and then made in the end product. Likewise, the human body, the human mind specifically, should be converted into a refinery of experience by removing the dirt. We should be refined, converting hatred into love. We have to create a humanistic social order. There should be concern for others, and we must ponder whether we have played at least once for others. Even this celestial song, Celestial says, work and worship are the same. If someone is offensive in speech, we should not retaliate. Forget it for a day or two. Your mind will become calm and you will never retaliate. I am not here suggesting avoiding and abandoning the army or police structure or anything, but this is basically pervading to the human being. Unless he converts his mind as such a beautiful refinery, he cannot achieve this state of mind. We should enrich society by good work. The study of the scriptures help to develop character. The study of modern literature, modern manifestations by very eminent political philosophers, economic philosophers also will shape your character to think according to the modern technology and the necessities of the present day society. We should think that everyone is our neighbor and do everything to help remove the sufferings of others. The greatest task is to destroy all anti-human beings. This requires lot of integrity and purity of character. Without these two, integrity and purity of character, nothing can be done. The index of a man's eminence, irrespective of his position, scholastic attainments, and wealth, it is his integrity that brings him the honor. The higher the position he occupies, the greater shall be his responsibility to maintain the purity of his character. The integrity, always it must be for your nation, for your society, for your human beings, fellow human beings. Then only the discipline of filtering, the discipline of making your brain into a filter and take all possible good products, throwing out which are not useful to the humanity. See, the world is a big python. Representative repentance resulted in the modification of the curse that the day of his deliverance is ultimately, it must be touching to his heart for any human being. He has to have ever a retrospective view and that reminiscence, his own thoughts, whether they are humanistic or useful to the society or not. That process can be described beautifully by Ranganath Anand ji as mind working as a refinery. A woman, their anxieties, however resist, they are all real things. Unless you brood over, unless you ponder on the real problems of your fellow human being called woman, you can never be humanistic to a woman. Without these things, a society cannot flourish and cannot develop, cannot be an ideal society which will work for the human beings in your society. Finally, my request is read scriptures also, read modern philosophers also, read Marx, read Russell, read Gandhi, several philosophers whom you like. The ultimate thread inside available in the writings of all these philosophers is be humanistic. Behave like a human with all humility. That is the greatest contribution which you can give to the society. Thank you very much.